1.
How you doing, everyone? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 81, part one, and we are going to recount the week that was week 11, which was crazily enough the halfway point of the season. It is wild that we have reached this point, and it was sort of a fun week. I mean, there were a lot of close matchups. There was one not so close matchup. Um, and we saw some shifting in the standings. But here to break it all down with me from Denver, Colorado, is Jason Ashby. How you doing, Jason?
Mike, I'm doing great. I am about 12 hours or so away from hopping on a plane to New York, where I get to finally meet you in person and a whole bunch of other Bigs members. I'm super excited for this trip, man. I cannot wait. It's going to be a blast. I'm really excited to break this week down because, like you said, a lot of close matchups. Some that started off not so close that ended up close. Some that started off close and ended up not so close. Lots happening in this week. It's great to have you back. You survived your grad school, so you're back with us this week. Glad to have you back.
Yes, yeah, thank you. And a big shout out to you and to Joe and Ben for covering for me last week. I was drowning in writing papers. So could not have done it without you guys covering for me. So thank you.
We got you. We got you, man. Anytime.
Yeah. So what did you see this week in general?
Yeah. It was again, like, I mean, first of all, welcome back to the top of the heap. You are number one again, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with a little help from me, but you did a lot of the heavy lifting. So I won't take all the credit, but we'll get into that. But I mean, look, like I said, we're halfway through the season already, but like we're like the top 10 teams are still like in this thing. It's crazy. Nobody is safe in their spot. It's gonna be a fight to the finish. I can feel it.
It really is. It's exciting though. There's something like really exciting about the fact that anything can change at any moment. Just like one pitch, like one at bat can flip-flop
Yeah.
the entire standings. That's what's awesome about being this close to other teams.
Yeah, no, but right now, there's no way right now. Like, it's anybody's game right now.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. What do you say we dive right into this first matchup?
Let's do it. And that's gonna be your matchup, sir, against Matt Loosee. And this was the one that kind of was a little close throughout the week, and then ended up being not so close. Mike, you take the 14-5 victory over your colleague. How did that go?
Yeah, that was fun. It was a lot of fun to have bragging rights all over the school, and we didn't talk much to each other that throughout the week. We did just not about this matchup. But there was a lot of side eyeing going on, and awkward exchanges, but it was fun. And in the end, I came out on top, and I reigned supremacy in my middle school. So sorry about that, Matt.
Yeah, and you can carry that all through the summer and into next school year.
Yeah, yeah. I do want to say also that he was playing his ass off. Like he was managing a lot. He was making a ton of moves, which we'll get into. But hats off to him because he really made me work this week.
Yeah, he can tell. I can tell. And like even like the score ended at 14-5, but like after Saturday, it was only 13-6. Like it wasn't like, like 14-5 just sounds like a much bigger win than a 13-6 to me. And it was 13-7 after Friday. Like it was close for the majority of the week.
Yeah,
Let's hit on the close categories here. Mike, you win by the triple. You win by 3 walks by a batter and 3 1/3 innings pitched. Matt wins by 1 damn RBI.
yeah.
0.004 on the average, 0.005 on the on base. And you guys tied in doubles and strikeouts by a batter. Mike, on your bench, here we go. 2 for 23.
Wow, good job, me. 2 for 23. 2 for 22 is 1 for 11, which who knows that fraction.
Maybe Ben.
It's an 90. It's an 087.
It actually is an 087. Well done, sir. Well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you.
You're done. You don't got to do any more.
Nowhere to go but down from here. So
087, but that came with 1 run, 1 double, 1 homer, 4 RBIs, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. Probably the biggest thing was on Tuesday, you had a 3-run home run from Correa on the bench while Duran went over 4 with 2 strikeouts.
Yes.
That, there was a double from Rendon on Wednesday that would have tied the category or would have won the category. But again, it's one of those things. And obviously, now Rendon is back on the IL. Well, we'll get to him in a minute. Let's talk about your moves this week, sir. You used 9 of them, 4 on hitters, 2 starters, and 3 relievers. We'll get to one of them in a minute. And aside from this guy, I like the Garrett Whitlock pickup. That was a nice ad. I know I had dropped him. I don't know if I was the last guy to drop him, but I dropped him a little while ago. I didn't want to, but he had been kind of struggling a little bit, so I didn't like the matchup. I think he was playing the Yankees one of the starts, and I didn't like that. So, any other particular ads you made that you would like to hit on?
I mean, yeah, 100% the Eddie Rosario one, but I'm sure that's something we're going to talk about.
We're going to talk about that guy in a minute.
Yeah, we'll talk about that guy. Yeah, no, I don't think so for this week, but definitely.
Yeah, it was pretty clean. Nobody dropped it anything spectacular. You're still in this ad drop love-hate relationship with JD Davis. I feel like every week you drop him and then you add him again the same week.
Yeah. I mean, he got hurt this week and hurt his ankle. Yep. I thought he was going to hit the IL. He never did. He did nothing but pinch hit home runs off the bench. And I was like, all right, he's obviously going to play again sometime soon. And here he is, still not in the lineup tonight.
That's the Giants for you.
That is the Giants.
Let's hit on your key players. Well, yeah, we talked about this guy. How about Eddie Rosario?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you picked this guy up on what, Friday? So you had him for all 3 days. The guy goes bananas. Bat 600, 692, 5 runs, 4 homers, 10 RBIs. Like, just what?
Love it. I loved the matchup against all the Rockies pitchers. Even though it wasn't in Colorado, who cares? It's against garbage pitchers. And he also had Orlando Arcia like just going crazy this week against me. So I was like, I gotta neutralize this guy. He's on base every at bat. So
I mean, the Braves are literally the hottest team in baseball right now. So having 2 guys in the middle of that order, even though Rosario doesn't even play every day, like he played these 3 days and he gave you just absolute money.
Yes. I'm so thrilled with that pickup.
I will shout out also to Leody Taveras. Where did he, 357 with a 379, 6 RBIs from a guy who bats like in the bottom of the order, 3 home runs from a guy who's not known for his power. Like that's a great week from that guy.
Yeah, that's my Cedric Mullins replacement, and he's done nothing but do exactly what Mullins did when he was here. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah. So, well, your least valuable hitter, I mentioned him. Anthony Rendon guy.
I'm shocked you went for him. Okay.
Didn't get a single hit. Scored 1 damn run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and now he's back on the IL for the 17th time this year, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 17. Yeah.
Yeah. Nolan Gorman was pretty atrocious also. I will say the 9 strikeouts and the 067 with a 222 on base, just 1 damn run. But Rendon, the fact that he's back on the IL again just took the cake for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. On your pitching side, I got to give your Cy Young once again to George Kirby. Just a brilliant outing. This was against San Diego. No, this was against the Marlins. 6 innings. Where is he? 6 innings, a win, 10 strikeouts, nothing earned, and a .5 WHIP. Like, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. Too bad he couldn't go longer. So the start from Whitlock was really good. 7 innings and a win. But Kirby was just fantastic.
Yeah. This is the first week I actually felt good about my pitching staff. So.
Except for, so one of your ads this week, I'm giving your yuck to this Jose Soriano guy, just because, like, everybody else pitched really pretty well, but this guy, like, was just, he got 1 out and had an 81 ERA, walked 2 batters. Like, he didn't do really much of anything good.
Yeah, Yahoo, of course, posted a story about this guy the day I picked him up, and it was like, he has yet to be scored upon. And I was like, come on.
I'll be honest. I had thoughts of picking this guy up, and I'm like, no, there's something wrong about this guy. Like, he's gonna blow it up at some point, and he did.
Yep, very quickly.
Yep. All right, on to Matt Loosee. All right, on his bench, he goes 6 for 28.
All right, 6 for 28. 6 for 24 is a 250. And 6 for 30 is a 200. And it's a little closer to that. So let's go with 212.
Oh, 214.
Oh, I was thinking that too.
Right. I could tell. I could see on the tip of your tongue. 214, 2 runs, a double, 3 RBIs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. The double is the only thing that really plays. And that comes on Saturday. He had Starlin Marte on the bench with Brandon Lowe or Josh Lowe out of the Rays lineup. So that was the easy fix right there.
Yeah. Where is he? There he is.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
So that was the move. That would have made it, a little bit of a closer matchup. But it is what it is. There was another couple of, I think there was one on Wednesday. There was no counting stats that mattered, but he had Conforto starting not in the lineup, but it worked out. So, like, it was okay. But the Saturday, he really wanted to get Marte in there.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that he made ads, and he absolutely did. He used 10 of them. 3 hitters, 3 starters, 2 relievers, 1 swingman, and 1 opener is how I'm calling it.
I like that.
He added Chase Anderson, gave him a bad start. Jaime Barria, I'm calling him the swingman because he did make a relief appearance later in the week, but he benched that. Actually, that was on Sunday. He benched that. It was a solid relief outing from him on the bench, but he started him on Monday, and that was not a good start against the Rangers. He added this guy, Tom Cosgrove. What team?
Tom Cosgrove's on the Padres.
He is. Wow. Ben would be impressed.
Yeah.
But he never got into a game and then was placed on the IL, and that was a waste. But he did add Bryan Bayo for that beautiful start against the Yankees last night, or on Sunday night. He added Wilmer Flores, who gave him a 2-run home run. He added he got a decent start from Zach Greinke on Sunday. That's pretty much it. Oh, he did drop on Monday. He dropped Freddie Peralta, which I thought was a bit of a curious move.
Yeah, a little bit of a head scratcher. I know he's been frustrated with Peralta, but I mean, when he's like your number 2 or 3 starter, I don't know that you drop him. But yeah,
and especially in a league like this where whoever has the top waiver priority, so somebody's going to pick him up.
Yeah,
and that's something that that I know I have learned over the years in this league is. You're frustrated with the guy, I get it, but if you drop him, somebody else, Joe's going to pick him up. Ben's going to pick him up. One of these guys, so one of these guys are going to, someone's going to pick him up, and he's going to turn it around, and somebody else is going to reap the benefits. And that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's true.
For his key players, gotta give it to Justin Turner, MVP. 385, 407, 7 runs, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 10 RBIs, a walk, 4 strikeouts. The 2 errors, not pretty, but what a week for Justin Turner.
Yeah.
I'll also shout out the 4 stolen bases from Josh Lowe, and also Arcia. We talked about Arcia. Arcia had a great week. 440, 500 on base, 9 runs, a double, a homer, 6 RBIs, a steal, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, and an error. Yeah, that was a solid week too. But the 10 RBIs is what kind of stood out for me for Justin Turner.
Yeah, I think one of them was a grand slam. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he had 2 home runs that day.
Yeah,
I think that
2
was on
home runs against the Yankees.
Friday. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was that beatdown.
Yep.
For his least valuable hitter, we're going to talk about Salvador Perez. 211, 250 on base, 3 runs, a homer and RBI, 7 strikeouts. Just a rather blah week from Perez this week.
Yeah.
For his pitching, well, we talked about Bryan Bello. 7 innings, a win, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, a 1.29 and a 1 whip against the Yankees on Sunday Night Baseball. So that was impressive. This guy's been kind of up and down all over the league, but my guess is he probably finds a home here with Matt, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And for the Cy Young, well, on the other side of the coin, you had Domingo Germán. And the funny thing is, I wrote down Cy Young. I wrote him as a Cy Young like after this start because I knew it couldn't get much worse. 2 innings, a loss, a homer, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, a 31.50 and a 4.50 whip. Gross.
Yeah, this was like the most bittersweet moment of the week for me. It's like, oh yeah,
sure.
I got ERA and whip locked up, but God damn, the Yankees are getting killed right now.
Yeah, and I was watching that. We were bowling and we were watching the game on the bowling TV, and I was just going, "Wow, this is awful."
Yeah, it was bad. It was embarrassing.
All right, sir. So yeah, after this, you jump back into first place, and how are you feeling?
Yeah, no, like I said, I feel good that I'm back in first place. I've had some first place teams before where I felt really confident, and this is not necessarily one of them. But the way I see it is that I've gotten to this point because of management and not at all because of player performance, because my player performances have been really lackluster. Vlad has been really, really mediocre. Bryce Harper has been somewhat mediocre. Nolan Gorman fell off the planet. Carlos Correa is terrible. Like, these guys are not performing. Cedric Mullins is hurt. Chris Bryant, Anthony Rendon, like, this is my whole offense that's just not performing. And the pitching is starting to come around. Like, I'm starting to feel more comfortable with the pitching staff. So at least I have that going for me. But like you mentioned before at the start of this matchup, like, yeah, he got 1 more RBI than me, 0.004 average and 0.005 on base. The only reason those 3 categories were close was because of my Sunday. And they weren't close at all until this day. My Sunday was incredible with Rosario hitting 2 homers and 6 RBIs, and Tavares had a 3-run homer, Jonah Heim homer. Like, I haven't seen this batting line in one day.
So you crushed it.
Yeah. I mean, it was great. It was great. And it's 2 weeks in a row that I had this huge Sunday, but like, if I could do this batting line 2 or 3 out of the days of the week, like, I'd feel way more confident. But the fact that like every other day of the week is 5 for 30 with 12 of strikeouts, like, it's frustrating. But that being said, I feel good. I got a win where I really needed a win. I think for the first time in a long time, I won every single pitching category, and I've never done that I'm not sure I've ever done that in the bigs. So that feels pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm having a great time sort of jockeying position with my brother right now. Um,
And not only did you win every pitching category, but you really won all of them pretty decisively. I mean, the innings were kind of close, but aside from that, like everything was pretty much well decided. So well done.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, innings were close because I knew on Sunday he couldn't catch me. So I was like, you throw Brian Bayo all you want and Zach Greinke, whatever the hell else you want to throw.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel good about it. I'm proud of Matt for fighting the way that he did this week. Yeah, he missed a couple of moves here and there, but at the same time, like
The
he
10
made,
ads is probably more than he's made in a while.
yeah, ever probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Now he's got to keep pushing and try to dig yourself out of this hole. And is it fair to say that Matt's season is in the books at this point?
I mean, if he can get hot, maybe he sneaks his way into the consolation bracket. Um,
Yeah.
but which look, you know what? As somebody who I fought my way into the consolation bracket too, so
Yeah.
make that something,
Yeah.
and be proud of yourself. Take yourself out of the basement and play spoiler. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's all these teams ahead of you that have aspirations. All these teams that are hungry. Be the guy that to knock them off and work your way up the standings and just have fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
All right. I guess unless there's any final comments, I think that's going to bring us to our next matchup.
Yeah. Sounds good.
That, sir, is going to be one of the reasons why you're back in first place, and that's going to be my matchup against your brother.
Yes, it is. Let me share my screen here.
Yeah, go ahead and share that. So I take the 11-8 win over Josh, and let me tell you, we were back and forth on this. I honestly, I didn't think I was going to walk away with anything here. So Sunday, I was at softball all day. Plus, it was my birthday, so I barely even took a look at my phone at all on Sunday. Like, and he texted me like in the afternoon, "Congrats on the win." I'm like, "What? I won?" I was like, "Wow, okay, thanks."
That's amazing.
Yeah. But I will get into it. But Josh, hats off. Thanks for a great match.
Yeah, for sure. And Jason, shout out to you for, you just had your birthday. So happy birthday to you, my friend.
Thanks. Thank
I
you.
feel like a crap friend for not knowing that it was on Sunday, but happy belated.
It all counts the same.
Yeah. All right, so as we said, you took an 11-8 victory over the guy that was in first place. So thank you again for that. Close categories this week. You win by 1 RBI, 2 walks by a batter, 2 wins, 1 home run given up by a pitcher, and that's it. Josh wins by a double. He wins by 2 steals, 1 strikeout by a batter. That's it. You guys tied in triples with 0 and relief appearances with 17. Is that it? Did I miss anything? No, that's it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about you who won the week. On your bench, Jason, you went 8 for 36.
Okay. 8 for 32, 8 for 40. So like, 230.
222.
Okay. All right.
Close, very close.
Yeah.
7 runs, 3 doubles, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts, and an error. The 7 runs would have definitely played here. And the 3 doubles also would have flipped that category.
Yeah, and I don't know if any of it flipped or if any of it would have mattered, but I know Saturday, the Lamont Wade benching did not.
Yeah.
That was not good.
Yeah.
I was
Saturday
also
was
I was out that night and they had the game on and I was watching that going like almost crying.
Yeah, that was a tough one, but I mean, it's not like you really could have squeezed him in any. I mean, you could have, but like the Jace
Yeah,
Peterson, you
it
could
was
have benched
basically it was
Jason
between
Peterson.
yeah, it was between him and Vargas, honestly, in the
Vargas.
same game. And the Dodgers had Bobby Miller pitching, and he had been fantastic. And the Giants had like I think it was
An opener, maybe?
yeah, like I don't think it was anybody impressive. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll play the odds there, and
Yeah.
that did not work for me or the Dodgers.
15-0.
Yeah,
Yes, but that I mean, so that play alone is gonna flip some things for you for sure.
yeah,
Um, and I think there were a couple of other days. Oh yeah, on Tuesday you had a couple of doubles on your bench as well.
yes, yeah.
That was Austin Hayes.
Austin Hayes, yeah, and I think that was also a pitching matchup. I want to say maybe it was Chris Bassett, maybe on the mound.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was a pitching matchup, but what can you do?
Yeah. Yeah. What can you do? I mean, you won the week. So we're just nitpicking a little bit here. The 10 strikeouts obviously I mean, you lost in strikeouts, but the error of the 10 strikeouts, you don't want to play any of that anyway. So like it's so hard to squeeze all of these stats in there.
It
Um,
is. It is.
for your transactions this week, shocker, Jason, you used all 12 ads. Four of them starting pitchers in Rich Hill, Matthew Liberatore, Patrick Sandoval, Tariq Skubal, which I thought was a savvy pickup as he's getting ready to come off the IL. Three hitters in Jace Peterson, Ramon Urias, and Jose Caballero is, I believe, how to
Nice.
pronounce the name. Thank you.
Nicely
And
done.
thank you. The five relief pitchers: Nate Pearson, Garrett Crochet, Julian Merriweather, some guy named Hedrick, and another guy named Sean Dubin Do. I've never heard of anything close to Sean Dubin before, but
Nobody has, but they called him up to replace Brandon Belock, and I thought he might come in as like a, mop up or a, bulk in guy on Sunday in hopes of getting that last relief appearance, and he did not come in. And the Rich Hill thing didn't work out. He was supposed to have pitched against the Cubs earlier the week, and I guess they shuffled the rotation, and he ended up not pitching against the Cubs. He ended up pitching against the Brewers, so I dropped him, and he was terrible against the Brewers. So that worked out.
yeah, hate when that happens.
Yeah. That was a waste of an ad, but it worked out. I guess I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Any other notable ones?
Yeah, this Hedrick guy. Like I was really happy with that. Like, because I knew the Twins were going with an opener. And I knew they just called this guy up, so I figured, okay, he's probably going to be some sort of a bulk guy, and he got the win in relief.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, cool, that works.
Yeah, not only did he get you that win, but he got you the relief appearance, which tied the category. So it was definitely huge. Let's hit on your key players this week. So your MVP. Oh, sorry, that's not the matchup. That's the matchup. Your MVP this week, we're going to highlight Christian Yelich, who goes 444 with a 524 on base, 5 runs. The 4 doubles were huge. A homer, 4 RBIs, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts.
I think Josh even texted me at one point during the week and was like, did we time warp back to 2018? What the fuck's up with Christian Yelich?
Sounds like something he would say. For your least valuable hitter, I'm going to give it to Miguel Vargas, who had a rough week, who hits 067 with a 167 on base, 1 RBI, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. I believe it was like a 3 for 23 or something horrible like that.
It sounds about right. Yeah, it was actually. I think it was even just. Yeah, I'm looking. He just had one. He had one hit. He had one hit
Oh,
all
man.
one.
Okay. So it's like a 1 for 21 or something.
One for
Yeah.
the
So,
week.
yeah,
Yeah.
1 for the week. Moving down to the pitching side of things. Oh, shout out to Jace Peterson too for the least valuable hitter.
Yeah. Yeah. He's garbage.
I just hate that guy in general.
Yeah. Me too.
For your Cy Young this week, I'm going to give it to Taijuan Walker, who had an excellent start for you. 8 innings, a win, 8 strikeouts, a 1.13 ERA, and a .88 WHIP. That was against Oakland, which, I mean, that's a strategy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but like also I feel like that could have been a start that like blown up on me, and like he could get up 6 runs over 3 innings, and like I'm fucked. But because you never know, they beat the Rays. Like the A's can win games apparently.
Sometimes, sure.
But yeah, that worked out.
And it's funny because you were playing against my brother, and last week when I played against Josh, all he did was stream pitchers against the A's, and all they did was get blown up.
Yes, yes, yep.
So here you go streaming a pitcher against the A's, and it just pays off so well.
Yep.
It's awesome. For your Sayuk this week, we're gonna highlight. Yeah, I mean your pitching was actually pretty good this week. It's hard to sort of pinpoint one guy. So let's highlight Nate Pearson, who, he gave you 2 relief appearances, an inning and 2/3, the loss, a home run, a walk, strikeout, 16.20 ERA, and a 2.40 WHIP. Only because
it was all Sunday. Sunday he gave up I guess it was maybe a walk-off home run, I guess, or something. But
Texas,
yeah. So what can you do? But he's been pitching well all year. So
yeah.
I like this kid. I like this kid right in the middle of that Blue Jays bullpen. So I'm good with him.
Yeah. I also like if something ever were to happen to Jordan Romano, I would not be shocked if this guy fell into.
I mean, they have like Eric Swanson's probably the next guy up, but like he would get looks for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's flip over. Let's flip over to Josh now. So Josh on the week on his bench goes 5 for 24.
Oh, okay. So
you can do this one.
I can, because a 5 for 25 is 200. So 5 for 24 is going that way. 210.
Oh, 208.
Oh,
so close. So close.
I'm gonna get one, I promise.
2 runs, a double, a homer, 2 RBIs, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. The 2 RBIs obviously would have flipped it. The 3 walks would have flipped it, but like, man, it would have had to have been perfect. It was tough. For the most part, he did a great job with his benchings. I think it was he had 3 walks, all 3 walks on Wednesday. So I think if you can get a couple of those in, let's find the guy here. It was Kirilloff on the bench with 2 walks, Julian on the bench with a walk.
Yeah, I mean it's Kirilloff, but he also didn't get a hit. He didn't really do anything.
Yeah, and I mean the only
Russo.
thing here, Ketel Marte, who didn't play, and then maybe you can get Julian in the lineup for second base, but I don't really know how the timing of those games played out. So
right. And maybe you start Kirilloff into Rizzo was going against, that was the Verlander game, so maybe you don't start Rizzo against Verlander, but
I think he wanted to start Russo against Verlander.
He probably did, yeah.
Yeah, so that, I mean, those are sort of the nitpicky things that we could find, but again, it's just like we said for you and your benching, like it's when it's that close, it's really hard to sort of criticize. Um, for his transactions this week. Actually, I want to mention as well that he had 3 starting pitcher appearances on the bench this week, which I'm assuming was a strategic move on his part to avoid giving up the home runs and the walks and the losses. But Josiah Gray on Wednesday gave him 7 innings on the bench. Taj Bradley on Thursday on the bench, and Logan Webb on Sunday on the bench. Honestly, none of it really mattered because he didn't get 2 wins there. The strikeouts weren't close. I don't think anything would have changed. So
yeah, we were texting during the Bradley starting. That was against Oakland, and he was like, the way that Oakland had been playing, he didn't want to start him against him, and it was going so well for him at the beginning. He racked up like 11 strikeouts, but he also ended up giving up like 3 runs. So I think he felt okay about it.
Yeah. He felt validated in the end, but yeah, those first 4 innings were scary.
Yeah. Gesundheit.
Thank you. All right, let's move forward to his transactions now. He used 11 ads this week, not all 12. And he did not add 1 starting pitcher. So good for him. He added 6 hitters and 5 relief pitchers. Definitely needed all of those relief pitchers to tie you in relief appearances. His 6 hitters were Marcell Ozuna, Alex Kirilloff, Gary Sanchez, blah, 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 Julian, who I don't know his first name, Danny Jansen, and DJ LeMahieu. Relief pitchers were Fuck Barmer, Daniel Bard, Daniel Hudson, Pierce Johnson, and Jake Bird. He also made a trade with Joe and traded away Evan Phillips and Brusdar Graterol to Joe for Sandy Alcantara. I want to talk about this trade real quick, and I want to get your opinion, because on paper, this seems like it's somewhat fair given how Sandy Alcantara has been pitching this year. But at the same time, as soon as that trade went through, Josh just goes and picks up Daniel Hudson, who's a sneaky pick there when you're trading away Evan Phillips and Brusdar Graterol. One may say that he bamboozled Joe. Would you agree?
I don't know if he bamboozled him. I don't know how much. I mean, is Hudson even close? What's he doing?
I think he should be
could
back.
Could be activated in the Dodgers road trip in late June. Okay, but like will he be the guy? I feel like it'll be kind of a bit of a committee now between all these guys. I mean, it was a good problem to have if you're Dave Roberts, but I don't know. But I mean, Evan Phillips hasn't really been that great either. Neither of those guys have really been tremendous. Alcantara, I just feel like even though he's been struggling and he was bad again in the start this week, which I'm grateful for, but I feel like the upside there is so much higher. I mean, this is the reigning Cy Young Award winner, and this is a guy who playing on a winning Marlins ball club, which what? I just feel like so I don't know if he swindled him, but I feel like it's still a great. I think it's going to be a good move for Josh. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. It's just a very interesting chain of events that happened with.
It's absolutely genius. It's absolutely genius what he did.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
And because probably Daniel Hudson was probably on nobody's radar.
Yeah.
But he's got all the Dodgers. He had all the Dodgers relievers anyway, so it was an absolute genius move, and I think the Alcantara addition is just going to make it so much better. He's going to turn it around, and this is he's a number 1 guy.
Yeah. Hey, if he has a huge second half for Josh, that's what you got to bank on here, and you just gave up 2 committee pitchers for a Cy Young winning ace, and stashed a guy that could be stealing some saves there. So very, very interesting move. All right, let's get into Josh's key players this week. For his MVP, let's highlight a guy who probably annoyed the crap out of you in Ketel Marte this week. Ketel Marte hits 533 with a 632 on base, 7 runs, a double, a homer, 4 RBIs, 4 walks, and only struck out 1 time. Whew.
Yeah,
Man.
and like Josh went like the first half of the week without even a home run, and he said to me like, can someone just hit a home run or something like that? And that was on Thursday, and that night Ketel Marte hit the home run, and I was like, well, there you go, you got your home run.
Yeah, I mean, he did a little bit of everything this week except steal bases, but he was on base almost every time. His least valuable hitter, we're gonna highlight Austin Riley this week, who hits 172 with a 242, 3 runs, an RBI, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, and an error. He texted me so frustrated yesterday. I'm sure he said the same thing to you about how the Braves scored what did they score? 15 runs or something? 14 runs, and he goes 0 for 6.
I mean, all weekend, they scored what, 30 something runs against the Rockies this weekend, or 40 something runs this weekend, and he really didn't do much of it.
Yeah, he was hitting third every day, and he just contributed pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's got to be frustrating, and yeah, it definitely showed this week. For Josh's Cy Young, let's highlight. He had some rough starts this week, but we're gonna highlight where is he? James Paxton. 6 innings, a walk, 8 strikeouts, nothing earned, and an 0.83 whip. That was against the Rockies. It's a very
pitch against the Rockies when they're on the road. That's the secret sauce.
Yep, that is the strategy. His Cy Young this week was a guy who's been brilliant for him, but this week not so much. John Gray, who goes 2 1/3 innings, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 23.14 futuristic ERA, and a 3.86 whip. That was against the Blue Jays.
And he was supposed to start earlier in the week. I forget who they were playing. Maybe it was Baltimore, and he got skipped because of a blister, and it wasn't looking. It was unclear whether he was going to pitch at all this week or anything. And all of a sudden, here he is pitching on Sunday, and he got absolutely torn apart by the Rangers.
Yeah. By who? By the Blue Jays, right?
Or by the Blue Jays, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no one pitched well in that game. So, yeah. So, and shout out to some other guys who had rough weeks. We already mentioned Sandy Alcantara, and Louis Varland, who has now been dropped.
Yeah, and both of those, the Varland and the Gray were both on Sunday, and again, I hadn't looked at my phone practically all day, and so I looked and I was like, oh shit, both of those guys lit up.
Yeah, so Josh's ERA on Sunday, he threw 9 2/3 innings. He had a 13.03 ERA.
Yeah,
that's brutal. Not that you pitched much better, but
yeah,
you didn't really have a lot of guys in there.
Yeah, that was kind of the point.
Yeah, well done. All right, so that will tell the story on your matchup. What are your thoughts here? You happy with the win?
Yeah, I'm just like I said, I'm happy to get away with a win. I feel like we were a bit back and forth a little bit. Josh is, he's one of the best, and I know he's on there just as much as I am, making ads, making lineup changes just as much as I am, and so he really gave me a run for the money, and I hope I, did the same thing for him. And I'm still in this thing, so I'm still fighting. I have my eye set on number 6, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you are a game over 500. You're in the Bob spot at 8th. But yeah, you're 6 games out of a playoff spot with half the season to go, so you're perfectly fine.
Yeah, and I have Matt Loosee next on the schedule, which I'm hoping is, going to be a good week for me, and while I'm in New York, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I you're getting to a softer part of the schedule here, and I think it's a good time for you to really take advantage and try to distance yourself from the bottom teams and creep up on these top teams here.
Yeah, I mean, I met this week, and then I had this guy named Mike Haber, week 13.
So it's such a soft spot,
That's a walk in the park.
But then you got Mike Sherman after that.
Yeah.
You've got Bobby Russo, and then you've got Christian. So it's like you're sort of like, a little back and forth here.
If I can at least take two or three of these, I'll feel really good.
Yeah, for sure. And Josh? I mean, he's fine.
He's fine. Yeah, he's fine. His team is great, and we talked about the trade. There's not many holes now with that Alcantara addition. There's not really many holes in this team anymore.
Yeah, agreed. And he's gonna be fighting for number 1 spot the whole season, I think. And I hope I'm there fighting with him. If I'm not there and I fall out of it, like, I'd be proud of him if he were up there. But yeah, nothing would make me happier if we were 1 and 2 at the end of this, but
it would be that would be so much fun for this league, I think.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
And if we could play one playoff match against each other, like, I don't care what round, I just think that would be so much fun.
Yeah, that'd be main event level,
Yeah.
All right, sir. Shall we move on? I think we should move
it.
on. Let's talk about, if you want to share the screen, we're going to talk about Bryan Lebo taking an 11-8 victory over Christian Wood. Good win for Bryan. He stays hot, and this guy, we've talked about how hungry he is. He's moving up the standings now. He's in 9th place, taking advantage of spots in the schedule that he should be. So good job on him for getting a big win. Not a big win, but an important win, I should say.
Yeah, for sure.
Close categories. He wins by 2 RBI, 2 walks by a batter, 1 error, 1 loss, and 1 relief appearance. Christian wins by 3 saves, 3 homers by a pitcher, 0.03 on the ERA, and 0.03 on the WHIP. That was pretty cute.
Yeah,
they tied in doubles and triples.
Also cute.
Yes, lots of cuteness in this matchup. For Bryan Lebo, who won the matchup, on his bench, he goes 2 for 16.
1 for 8. 125.
Bingo. That's 2 this week. Good job.
Yeah, that's
2 runs, 2 RBIs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Absolutely none of it plays. Beautiful job on the bench, Bryan Lebo. That was well done.
Great job,
yes,
Ryan.
Sir. For his ads, he used all 12, 5 hitters in your friend Brent Rooker, who went 2 for 3 with a double, an RBI, and a walk the day he picked him up. So that was nice.
Yeah,
he added Luis Matos, prospect rookie kid for the Giants. Comes up 1 for 3 with a run that day, and he actually looked pretty impressive so far. So this might be a thing. We'll see.
Yeah.
He picked up Ryan O'Hearn on Thursday, but then he was not in the lineup. But he actually still had a pretty good week. We'll talk about that. But Mickey Moniak, he picked up. He's a maniac. He's a Moniak. He added 3 starters in Zach Davies, who was not good, Colin Rea, who was not good, Matthew Liberatore, more on him in a minute. And he added 4 relievers in Andrew Vasquez, Aaron Loop, Tommy Canely, and Austin Adams. For his key players, let's talk about Taylor Ward. 308, 345 on base, 8 runs, 3 doubles, a homer, 2 RBIs, a steal, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Benintendi had a really good week too, as did Brendan Donovan, but the 8 runs, Lebo won by 9 runs, so the 8 runs kind of, stood out for me.
There you go.
Who also stood out as a least valuable hitter is our good friend, Bryan Hayes. Bryan Hayes tormented us, but this week he goes 190 with a 190, 2 RBIs, a steal, and 7 strikeouts. The steal is nice, but doesn't really matter, and he was just awful otherwise.
Yeah.
On the pitching side, well, his pitching wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, but we're going to give it to Shane McClanahan. His Cy Young, 6 2/3, a win, a homer, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 135 and an 090 whip. That was against the Padres in San Diego. Are we thinking maybe back-to-back Cy Young?
I mean, it's at this point, yeah. At this point, it
right?
Seems like no one else is really close, but
2.12 ERA, 11 wins. 11 wins. We're only in June.
Yeah.
And for Cy Young, well, we talked about Matthew Liberatore. He picked him up and started him on Sunday against the Mets, and I don't know that he really needed to do that. And he ended up going 4 innings with a homer, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, an 11.25 and a 150. There were some other bad ones in here. Zach Davies, like I said, was not good, but this start against the Mets, I saw that opportunity, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that, and I don't know that it really helped him at all. And the fact that he lost ERA and WHIP were so close, I don't know if that would have been a start I would have made.
Yeah, I think I agree there. Seemingly unnecessary.
Yeah. For Christian on the bench. All right, you ready for this one?
Oh boy.
15 for 35.
Oh, that's not good. That is not
not good.
15 for 30 is 500. 15 for 45 is 333. So this is a God, I don't know. For 32.
Ooh, 429.
Oh man. I'm having a good day.
You can take that if you want.
I'm having a good day.
429, 11 runs, 6 doubles, 2 homers, 9 RBIs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. A whole bunch of that plays. The runs, the doubles, the RBIs, the walks, all of it. The biggest egregious probably happened on Tuesday. He had Brett Beatty on the bench with nobody starting at third base.
Oh man.
And then Adam Frazier had a home run. Duran wasn't starting that day, but he did end up stealing 2 bases, so I guess that worked out.
Okay. Yeah.
But he had the homer from Frazier on the bench. That's where you could have had that. On Wednesday, he had a 4 for 5 day from Margot on the bench, or at least Margot had a big day on the bench. 3 doubles. You probably started him over Josh Outman, maybe.
Yeah.
Same thing happened on Thursday. He had Margot on the bench with a home run. So it was a struggle to kind of get these guys in.
And Verdugo didn't even have a game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yikes.
So there was some misses here. He also did. So we'll talk about his ads real quick. He used 7, 3 hitters, 4 starters. He added Jarren Duran, which again, it broke my heart to have to drop him after I did that trade with Frank, but I really feel like he's going to become the 4th outfielder with Duvall back. He did add Austin Slater, Manny Margot. Margot gave him a 2 for 3 double and RBI on the day he picked him up, but after that he had trouble getting him in the lineup.
Right.
The 4 starters he added, Luke Weaver was not good against the Royals. Martin Perez was decent against Toronto. Brandon or whatever his name Wu, whoever B Wu,
Bryan.
Brian Wu, B Wu, he was actually pretty good against the White Sox. And then he had Cole Irvin. He had Cole Irvin for the start against the Cubs, but he benched him. And it worked out because he was terrible. He gave up 3 home runs, a loss, a walk. It was not a good start, and he benched him, and then he dropped him. So it was a waste of an ad, but it worked out, I guess. So
yeah, all right.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting.
That was good luck. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if he meant to bench him but then why you adding him? So I don't know.
Right.
For his key players, let's talk about Alex Verdugo. 440 with a 500 on base, 7 runs, 5 doubles, 3 RBIs, 3 walks, and a strikeout. Esteury Ruiz gave him 5 steals, which for the matchup was important, but for the week, Alex Verdugo had a ridiculous week.
Yeah.
I'm giving the least valuable hitter to Adam Frazier. He didn't get him into the lineup when he needed to, and when he did get him in the lineup, he was awful. 4 strikeouts with an 091, and that's it.
Yuck.
Yeah. If he had good days on Tuesday and Sunday, but he didn't get him in the lineup those days, so that would have made it better. Alas, that's the case.
Yeah.
For the pitching side, Cy Young, Zach Wheeler, man, 12 innings, 2 wins, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts, a .75 ERA, and a 108 WHIP over 2 starts. Fantastic.
That's how you do a 2-start week. That's how you do it.
Absolutely, yeah. And against in Arizona, in Oakland, so take advantage of those matchups.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah. For the Cy Young, I'm giving it to Jorge Lopez because he ends up on the injured list, goes 2 innings and 1 relief appearance, gives up a 1350 and a 250, and then now he's shelved. So that sucks. But also
for mental health reasons.
Yeah.
That's rough.
That's rough. Especially because he was so good last year.
Yeah.
It's rough. Christian won by the ticks on the ERA and the WHIP. Luke Weaver was not very good. I mentioned that start. He gave up 4 walks and 3 strikeouts. Leclerc wasn't very good, but it was mostly a pretty good pitching week for Christian here.
Yeah.
All right. What did you see in this?
Yeah. We kind of hit on it before. You kind of hit on it before. The sort of the missed opportunity here is the storyteller. And we're looking at a much different score if Christian can get some of those players in. He flips doubles, he flips RBIs, he could flip runs with the right choices, maybe even walks, and suddenly it's 12-7 win instead of an 11-8 loss, and it's just it's tough to watch. It really is, because that's how you start chipping away. But these errors and these benchings, it adds up.
It does, and Christian had the lead for most of the week. It wasn't until Friday that Bryan was able to start flipping around the categories. So missed opportunities. It was exactly right. You had a chance here to knock down a hungry manager who was fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah,
and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, just didn't happen. And for his own sake, for Christian's own sake, dig himself out of the hole. And it's a lot of missed opportunities here. You're letting Bryan stay right where he needs to stay. He's only a couple games behind you in the standings right now, and all it takes is two big weeks from Lebo, and he's in a playoff spot. So, if I were him, I'd be perfectly happy with this outcome. I mean, obviously, when you're playing a team towards the bottom of the standings, you want a big win. But the fact that Christian was winning this throughout the week, 11-8 is perfect for Lebo.
Right. Yeah. And now you put that in your cap and you move on. He's got Costas this week, then Frank, and then Henry, and then Joe. So this is an interesting stretch here for Costas to see if he can really nuzzle his way into the playoff picture. I mean, he's right there. He's right there with all the rest of us. So
yeah,
I
really like this Lebo and Costas matchup. I think this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one to watch for sure. And then Lebo and Frank is gonna be great too. Two very, very hungry managers. All three of them are very, very hungry managers. So we'll see how it plays out. But I think Costas, or I think Bryan's in a great place right now. He's only gonna go up, I think.
Yeah, agreed. And Christian just needs to stay on top of it, just like we talked about with Matt. And is his season done, or does he still have something left in the tank?
He's what, 20 some odd games out of a playoff spot?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's dead, but he needs to not have those missed opportunities.
Yeah. He needs to go on a winning streak here.
He does. What's he got? He's got Ari this week, then Josh, and then Matt, and then you. So, if he can get Ari and Matt, that would at least be
something.
That'd be a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. Let's move on to our last matchup of the week, sir. And that's going to be Bobby Russo taking a nice 12-9 victory over Ari Nisman. That bumps Bobby up into 5th place and drops Ari down a spot to 11th in the standings. Just a good clean win for Bobby. Let's get into the close categories. Bobby wins by the 3 steals, 2 errors, and a loss. And Ari wins by the triple, 3 homers by a batter, and 1 homer by a pitcher. And they didn't tie in anything. All right. Get your calculator out for this one. For Bobby's bench, he goes 0 for 11.
343.
You got it. You nailed it.
Woo! That's a 0-0-0.
It absolutely is, with 6 strikeouts. Bobby. None of it plays. Absolutely just an incredible bench week, Bobby. Well done, sir.
Yeah.
For his ads, he used 9 this week. 4 hitters, 3 starters, a reliever, and a swingman. The swingman was actually he added Trevor Richards, and then he didn't end up pitching all week until he started Sunday, but he dropped him on Saturday. But he wasn't really good in the start on Sunday, so that worked out well.
Okay.
He added Hogan Harris for a good start against the Phillies. It was a loss, but he went 6 innings, a homer, a walk, 7 strikeouts. That was a good one. But otherwise, not a whole lot. Chris Taylor was not good. Brandon Marsh was not good at all. Taylor Walls wasn't good. Miguel Rojas wasn't good. So not a great moves this week. And he also dropped Eddie Rosario.
Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah. Yeah. You owe him for that.
Yes, I do.
For his key players, his MVP, we're going to give it to Christian Walker. 423 with a 500 on base, 3 runs, 4 doubles, 3 homers, 10 RBIs, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Just a magnificent week.
Yeah.
Least valuable hitter, well, Jake Cronenworth has been a disappointment. A 182 with a 217 on base, 2 runs, 2 doubles, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Just I knew I liked him coming in. Joe did not like him coming into this season, and Joe was right. For his pitching, well, one of his other ads this week was Lance Lynn, who I know has kind of been bouncing around between the Haber brothers over recent weeks. On Sunday, he goes 7 innings, takes the loss, but gives up 2 walks and 16 strikeouts with a 386 and a 086. And now he's on the bereavement list. So there you go. But the 16 strikeouts, that's impressive.
Yeah.
And
my brother texted me and he was like, I just dropped this guy and he 16 strikeouts. Awesome.
16 strikeouts. Yeah. I mean, but he still got the loss. And it wasn't a bad start. I mean, yeah.
Very weird.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah.
The Cy Young is going to be Sir Anthony Dominguez. An inning and a third over 2 relief appearances, a homer, a walk, 2 strikeouts, a 2 years from now ERA, and a 3 WHIP, and a visit to the IL. So
yeah, rough.
Good job.
Left oblique strain. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably going to be a while.
Yeah.
All right, on to Ari. I don't think you'll need a calculator for this one. On his bench, he goes 24 for 86.
Okay. 24 for 86.
0.00.
So that is not easy. The 24 for 72 is 333. And 24 for 96 is 250. You said 24 for 86?
24 for 86.
So that is going to be a 282.
279.
Oh, come on. I'm close tonight.
It counts. No, it counts. You're in orbit.
Okay, thank you.
Gigantic benching.
Yes.
But 24 for 86 sounds like a lot. 4 runs, 6 doubles, 6 RBIs, 5 walks, 20 strikeouts, and an error. So
wow. All right.
Yeah. The 6 doubles. The doubles is the only thing that plays. If he got all 6 in, he would have tied the category. That's it. So say what you will about his bench, that it really nothing mattered really.
Yeah.
He 3 of those doubles were on Sunday, but they were tough to get in. Yeah, it was just a very good and interesting bench week for Ari.
Yeah.
He did make 3 adds, all were hitters. He added Ezequiel Tovar, who went over 5 with a strikeout. He added Andy Ibanez, 0 for 2 with a run and 2 walks. And Jake Berger, solo home run.
Oh, Berger.
Yeah, we're doing the Berger.
Yeah.
That is all she wrote about his ads this week. For his key players, this hurts. Christopher Morel. Remember him?
Yeah, do remember him.
He's back again. 429 with a 409 on base, 6 runs, a double, a triple, 3 homers, 10 RBIs, and 4 strikeouts. Gotta give a shout out to Ryan McMahon as well. 529 with a 652, 6 runs, 2 doubles, a triple, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, 6 walks, and a strikeout. But fuck you, Christopher Morel. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, he's so streaky though. How do you trust that this is gonna continue?
Yeah, I know. In a week he'll be 0 for 20 or something like that. Yeah. But still, it just hurts to see.
Yeah.
The least valuable hitter is going to be Joey Meneses, a 133 with a 125, a run, 3 RBIs, and 5 strikeouts. Gross.
Yeah.
The pitching, well, there's not a whole lot of it. So we're going to give the Cy Young to Blake Snell. 6 innings, a win, 3 walks, 12 strikeouts. Nothing earned, an 0.83 whip against his former team. So that must have felt good.
Yeah.
And the Cy Young, well, again, there's not a whole lot here. So Trevor Williams, 4 1/3, a homer, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 10.38 and a 2.31. And why is he rostered?
Yeah, I don't know.
Mediocre pitcher on a mediocre team, but that pretty much puts this one to bed. What did you see here?
Yeah, I mean, Ari again showing up offensively, and his offense certainly does scare me. But again, here it is with like Chris Morrell and Ryan McMahon and like guys that wouldn't normally scare anyone who are carrying his team this week. I was really impressed with the 10 walks from Jorge Soler as well. Like
Yeah.
that really stuck out to me. But yeah, his offense was very impressive. But then what you're even more impressed about in turn is the fact that Bobby could see that happening, could see Ari running away with some of these offensive categories and still get a 3-category victory here, which is super impressive. So hats off to Bobby taking the majority of those pitching stats, and grabbing some offensive stats where he could. But this was an important win for him in a really, really, really tight spot in the standings. Right now, sitting at 5th, which is a game behind 4th and then a half game ahead of 6th. Like it doesn't get any closer than that. So every single victory, every single category is so critical right now for all of these managers that are like separated by a nose hair in the standings.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, it's a great win for Bobby. Where do we see Ari here? He's in 11th place. He's what, like about 10, 13 games out of a playoff spot or so.
I don't count him out. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. This offense is scary. And the fact that he can somehow manage this bench and manage it the way that he did. I mean, yes, he ends up with a loss here, but that could have been a lot worse with the way that bench, the volume of bench stats, and for none of it to matter is really impressive.
Yeah, it really is. He obviously knows what he's doing. He's a professional, and he just has a different strategy than most of the managers in this league, but he's proven that it works. So I'm not counting him out. He's not far enough out of anything right now to count out. So he'll be fighting. He'll be fighting for a spot in a few months. I guarantee.
Yeah. He is not out of it by any means.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's going to bring us to that time of the week. This is going to be a tough one, but Mike, who you got for number 3?
Oh man. For number 3, I'm gonna give it to James McCloskey. We didn't get to talk about it much, but he takes down Costas again, we're talking about the nose hairs. This is a really important victory. It's a 12-9 win over Costas, who was, I believe, in 4th place going into week 11. So now all he did was shrink that gap, and he's only 2.5 games behind Costas a game and a half behind Costas for 6th place. So a big win for McCloskey. He has the same amount of wins as Costas now. That was a fun matchup that you and I didn't get a chance to break down, but it was really fun to follow this one.
Yeah, and I know the matchup was tied 10-10 going into Sunday. So I don't know what exactly transpired, but it worked, whatever it was. So yeah. That's a good call. I am going to give my number 3. I'm going to give it to you, sir. It's a win against Matt Loosee, which, is normally not much to write home about, but the fact that it was so close until it wasn't, and you walked away with the biggest win of the week, and now you're back in 1st place. So my hat's off to you. You're perched back up on your throne. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, my friend. While we are stroking each other's egos, why don't I give you number 2?
I'll take it.
You were my number 2 manager this week. You took down the 1st place team. 2 awesome managers just playing chess and going at it. And you opened up a path for me to reclaim first. So my hat has to come off to you, my friend.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. For my number two, I'm gonna give it to the guy we just talked about. I'm gonna give it to Bobby Russo. It was a dogfight against Ari, and he managed to work with what he had against him. He knows the strategy. He knows what Ari does and doesn't do, and he made it work. And it was close all week, and then he kind of came away with his 3-stat win, and he's right there now. He's in that 5th spot. It's tighter than anything, but it was a big win for Bobby. So I have to give my hats off to Bobby Russo.
Yeah. I want to give my hats off to Bobby as well. He's not in my managers of the week this week, but definitely hats off to him. I also want to give a shout out to Mike Sherman, who takes down Joe with a 10-9 victory. Played his ass off, played really well. The reason why I couldn't give him manager of the week is because he was up big and Joe just kind of closed the gap there.
Yeah. And that's why I almost want to give Joe manager of the week, even though he lost, just for closing that gap. It was 14-4 going into Sunday.
Yeah.
So
hats off to him as well, for sure.
Absolutely.
But my number one is going to go to Frank Bucco, taking down a 12-8 victory over our commissioner. This was another one that was like ridiculously fun to watch. And I think Ben was winning this going into Sunday, if I remember correctly.
He was up 12-7 going into Sunday.
Yeah. So good for Frank to turn this whole thing around. I mean, that's definitely saying something about the caliber of manager that he is. Tying Ben in relief appearances with 26. Like 26 is kind of unheard of right now. And the fact that 2 managers in the same week going head to head both racked up 26 is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And, for Frank to get this win over the pitching line that Ben laid out this week, like a 1.79 ERA and
a 101 whip.
Yeah. 5 wins and he didn't take 1 loss. I mean, 5 saves, he didn't take 1 loss. Like, that's disgusting. And Frank still managed to grab almost every offensive category. And then he just threw whatever he could at the wall to get innings and wins and strikeouts. So it's a great strategy.
It was absolutely impressive. Obviously, we'll break it down in part 2, but it was a tight matchup all week long, and Frank took it. So you gotta give him credit. He's absolutely my number one as well.
All right, awesome. Okay, that's half our season in the books, Jason.
Unbelievable. How have we done? We've done 11 of these shows now. Like that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It feels like we just drafted.
Yeah. But dude, it's halfway over and nothing is settled. Nobody's running away. We don't know where anybody's going to land. It's still just anybody's game right now.
Yeah, it's awesome. The next time I'm going to see you, Jason, is in person.
We will be at Citi Field. Dude, we will be at Citi Field watching the Mets take on the Brewers. I cannot wait for that. It's gonna be a real awesome trip. I'm so excited.
It is. It is. New York cannot wait for you to get here.
Yes, New York. Don't sleep. Don't sleep, New York, because I will be there soon.
That's fine, but New Jersey's gonna sleep.
Yeah, Jersey can sleep, just not New York.
All right, thank you.
Until then, guys, it has been real.
And it has been fun.
And as always, real fun in the bigs. We'll see you guys.